Well, it's an incredibly long story. My grandfather had been in Canada since 1919. He paid the head tax, was separated from his wife in China when he got married in 1926 until 1950. And when he was able to bring his wife over, he wasn't able to bring his son over, his only child, my father. So he had me come over instead. I was just a baby then, and the story behind that, I mean, they're just long but quite interesting and of the times. The repeal of the Exclusion Act actually gave my grandfather the opportunity to bring his family over, but because his only son was over the age of 18 or 19, he couldn't come, particularly since he already had a family, which was my mother and me. So my grandfather, knowing that this was going to be a problem, and he'd only known all his life the legislated oppression of 62 years of head tax and exclusion, and at that time had just lost or had his property and everything that he'd worked for in Canada confiscated in China due to the Communist Revolution, just pondered what he could do, and this is probably the best decision he made. Was he said, I'm functionally illiterate, I don't know what to do. Our future is in Canada, the future of our family. We just lost everything we have in China. Send over my grandson so he can learn the laws and customs of this land so that he can unite the family when he's old enough and he learns those. And that's what my grandfather did. And
he did it for you.
He did it for the family. He did it for the family. And I can imagine how difficult it was for my mother and father, and I can imagine how difficult it was for my grandfather and grandmother, who were now at the age of 50-something dealing with an infant child. Not only that, but an infant child who was illegal in Canada. An infant child, I don't think I was nursed yet. My grandma always despairs of the fact she was not able to nurse me. So that's how it came. And far-reaching, you know, my grandfather was one of these very, very wise people who never really got to go to school. He left to go to work at the age of 10 to tend a rich man's cows, because the other thing that was going to go on, the family was in poverty and they were going to sell his older sister, who was, I think, 13 at the time. My grandma told me this story, and she cries every time she tells the story. Is, you know, there was, you know, your grandfather, 10 years old, and he had the courage to say, don't sell my sister, I'll go to work. And my grandfather looked after that sister all his life.